Welcome to The Hot Switch with your host, Alli Mang, bringing you the best from leaders, comebackers, and instigators from around the world. Every episode, we put each other on the hot seat to exchange the kind of hard-won wisdom and transformative ideas that will shift your perspective and fuel your next move. This is The Hot Switch.
Hi, welcome to The Hot Switch. Now wait, before you change to something else, let me assure you, this is The Hot Switch with Alli Mang. We're really making a switch this week. First off, my name is Victor Virgilio. I'm the producer of the show, and I've been behind the camera for 30 years. I've never done something like this before, so I'm a bit nervous. However, we do have Alli on, but first, as always, let's do a little bio and see what she's all about.
I'm Alli Mang. For over 30 years, I've been obsessed with one question. How do the best in the world get there and stay there? Here's what I've learned. Sustained excellence isn't what you do in the moment. It's every choice that built you for the moment. I teach high-stakes performers how to deliver under pressure when the platform is new, the stakes are highest, and there are no second chances. I've generated $65 million in 30 days, delivered 3,000 hours of live, unscripted performance where failure wasn't an option. That pressure built 21 proprietary methodologies. I teach A-listers and rising performers how to access what they've built when everything depends on being ready. Transformation doesn't take months. It takes one moment.
So please welcome to The Hot Switch with Alli Mang, Alli Mang.
Well, thank you. What a great introduction. Victor, I just adore you. I'm so happy and out of my comfort zone to not be in charge and leading, and I'm loving it. Well, Thank you for inviting me.
I'll be gentle, I promise. I'm not the best at this. Let's see what happens. But I appreciate you letting me host. It's something interesting because, you know, going through your bio, you've done so much. You've been involved with everything. It's amazing. And so I'm not sure where to start, but we'll start at the beginning. And we can
a very good place to start. Sorry.
So as a young child, you were involved in both figure skating and swimming, as we can see here. And with the swimming, with your young athletic career, you always had the best coaches, or you got yourself surrounded with the best coaches. So what was that like? And do you think that was kind of the foundation of who you are today and what you became?
Yes, I absolutely do. As a simple little answer, there's no question. You know, they always say who you surround yourself by is a great indication of where you are in the present and where you are going in the future. And I think that's true. So if you can be around people that are better than you, stronger than you, have more foresight, but are still coming at you at where you are, that's the thing. Then that is a good coach. Those are the people that need to be, they need to accept you where you are and then say, hey, I see you. Now let's move through. Let's move through and move forward. And those are the best coaches for sure.
And so you went from that, and how did you make or decide, or what were you exposed to decide to go into theater? I mean, we have a picture of you here in the chorus line. And,
yes.
You know, I mean, people usually talk about what they want to do, but you actually do it. So what was the driving force to you becoming, I don't want to say this improperly, but a theater person, or I was going to say theater girl, but into the theater and also into television acting. I mean, you acted on a show called TNT with Mr. T. So how did you pivot that way then?
Well, I think the performer in me, I think that you are born a performer. Yes, you can learn those skills, but you know, it needs to be from your gut that you need to perform. And I think all performers are, even though they say, well, they're full of ego and all that stuff, they actually, the best performers are so committed to telling the story the writer wants, or telling the story that they want to tell, depending on what that is, a speaker or whatever, or a figure skater, a dance couple. They want to tell the story to help the audience, feel, whether it's feel excitement, joy, glee, sadness, a sense of relief. That's what the essence of a performer is. A dancer is the same thing. They just express it through their body. So I think I was always that way. Figure skating is a performance driven sport. It is very artistic and creative, and you really have to understand yourself first. And that is true for any kind of performance, because if you don't, then you are kind of, as we used to call it, you're skating on the top of the ice as opposed to in the ice. And really, that's how I've created everything about myself. Am I perfect at it? No, I'm still growing. I'm still figuring it out. And I still bump into people who are doing it better than me. And I just go, oh, I love it. And it's the pursuit of really trying to find the best of yourself. That to me is what life is. And so that's kind of it. The theater is just kind of another arm of mine. I had a talent as a singer, as a young little pipster. And then I auditioned for Wonderland, which was a big deal. I mean, it still is, but back then, Wonderland is an amusement park in northern Toronto. And it was created, I can't remember when, but we were among the first to audition for it when they had shows, and which they still do. But back then it was like everybody from Canada auditioned. So I got Wonderland, but I also got a national theater called the Charlottetown Festival. And so I'd never sung professionally, and all of a sudden I decided to take the Charlottetown Festival because it did give me a professional card, and it unleashed a whole new world for me. The last thing I will say, at least about the performing world and doing television, doing films, there's nothing like, and Vic, you would totally agree with this. We are all people who know our lanes. We come in with the best equipment, everything on day one, first take, ready to go. We don't come sort of, hey, what do you think about me? And how do you? No, we come in with our performance because we know what we do well. And everyone does that, from the camera crew to the DOP to the director to the AD to the people in front of the camera to the makeup artists and wardrobe people. And we all do it with one vision. And whether it's a day shoot commercial or a film that lasts for 6 months or more, that's what we do really well. And it's exciting to see it when everybody comes together and just launches electricity. The Tonys were on just recently, and any awards show, but particularly the Tonys, that they're doing 8 shows a week. They're busting their hearts and bodies and minds and creativity to give over to their audience. And that to me is the essence of what a performer is.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching the Tonys because I think of any medium, live performance of music, yes, but an actor, if they screw up in a scene, okay, cut, do it again. With theater, I went one time and I saw Jerry Lewis in Damn Yankees on Broadway. And he forgot his lines, right? And so he's like, I don't know, guys. I'm not sure what my lines are. I forgot them. Don't know what to say. Right. And that was, that's live right there in front of you. I had no choice. I could hear the person in front of the stage yelling his lines up to him. Like, I can't hear you, but whatever. And went on with the show. But with you, how did you stay disciplined? Like, how do you, it's not easy. People don't see that you might be in workshop for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months.
Yeah, hopefully it all depends on where.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and to, like, you're in the chorus line. So to remember your dance moves, to remember lyrics to songs. I know it's repetition after a while, but it's amazing. How do you stay focused and disciplined and wanting to do that?
It's an interesting question. And I would say the same, before I answer, I would say the same. How do you know how to go to this button, to that button, and never forget it. And if you do maybe mess up, you know how to get out of it. It is repetition for sure, but it's also motive. Everyone talks about intention, live intentionally. If you don't have the right motive that allows for you to be unleashed and to flow and to work with others, then your intention is all about you, but motive is about others. And so how do I remember? Well, as a dancer, first of all, Chorus Line was the longest running musical ever until Cats. Probably Cats or Phantom of the Opera. I can't quite remember. But regardless, I listened to the Chorus Line since I was a little baby. So it had been ingrained in my entire soul and body, even as a little chicken. So when I got Chorus Line and the part was Val and her part was tits and ass, and it's just a little saucy little, and she swears. It's the only swear word that is stated in the entire musical, which is quite interesting.
It was a role made for you.
It was a role, little sassy, cheeky one, but it's a great role, but they're all great.
Yeah.
So how do we remember? Yes, rehearsals. Yes, 100%. But even like you just said with Jerry Lewis, well, he forgot to. Sometimes you just go blank. And that's the times, most times, that it's actually more fun. He handled it the way he handled it because he's a star. But if you're not a star and you don't remember a line, or you forget blocking or whatever, hopefully, unless it's a monologue or whether it's a one-person play, your castmates are there to take care of you. And that's what I always said. Actually, I sent that message to you today. Hey, let's take care of each other. We're both out of our comfort zones today. I'm talking about things that I don't even know what you're going to ask. And I do want to give you the vulnerable Missy that most people don't see except my dear friends, but I do want to do that. So we're out of our comfort zones. Let's take care of each other. So that's often what happens too. But listen, rehearsal. I used to have coaches and acting teachers that said, if you cannot do, whether it's a scene, a monologue, pitches, etc., if you cannot do them 10 times in a row perfectly, then go back and start again. So that's what we do in rehearsals too. And interesting, a lot of directors in theater specifically, film is a very different technique and animal. So that's a different world. But theater, they will often teach or block, if you will, because that's usually what directors do. They'll block the whole play. And within those plays, then we start to feel where, oh, right, I walk over here, and as I'm walking, I'm saying this line. So you start to feel it in your body. So it's not, you're not a cerebral performer. It's a full body. A singer sings from their feet as much as they do from their heart. And really the voice is just the release of it. That's proper singing. This small little singing that we hear from so many people, that's not singing. That's manipulation, but a good singer knows how to arrive and take the full stage, whether it's an opera singer, Broadway singer, or jazz, etc. But the director will do the end of the thing, including the bows, because if we know where we're going, then he'll start, or she who's directing will start at the beginning and then block it from there. So we need to know where we're going. Where are we going? What's our motive? Why are we doing it? Why are we here? We just came before. What are we doing now? Oh my goodness. Now I have somebody to talk to or sing to. Oh my gosh, what's happening next? It's an alive experience that you cannot phone in, because anything can happen, including, maybe an actor falls sick, or they trip, or you need to take care of everybody, and including yourself.
Oh, that's why I like doing these shows, and we kind of do a live to tape. I'm pulling back the curtain a bit. Just want to say one thing. If you notice me being distracted, this is what I see on my screen. This is what I'm dealing with. So I have on the right, there's audio. On the left is all video. And I have certain segments I want to put in. I want to hit certain marks with Alli. So I'm looking everywhere. So if I look off camera, I'm not being rude. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. But
I love that you did that. I'm so happy. Well, we have to celebrate you a little, because I just want to say, because I have to say it. You introduced yourself to me was it 15 years ago?
No, less than that. Probably 10.
Okay. 10, 15. Okay, 10.
Yeah.
And you just said, Alli, I can't remember exactly what you said, but we started working together.
Yeah, we had a test shoot in Oak on the waterfront. And I should have had that picture ready. I don't have those pictures ready. But you took a chance on me. I mean, I reached out to you, and I reached out to a lot of people, and not many answer back, but you did. And so,
oh my gosh,
it was a bit of a road to get here with you, but
indeed,
I'm happy we're here, and I'm happy we're able to do stuff together, because
me too.
The more I get to know you, the more I'm amazed by you. You're in a profession where you like to perform, which is fantastic, but you also help those others perform as well. And you have your own management. Am I right? Own management company, Rutherford Mang. Am I right with that? Or is that no longer?
You're 100% correct. Yeah. And it did start as a talent management company. Yeah. I brought musical acts down to Florida, and we toured up and down both coasts of Florida with some of the best Canadian performers. And thanks to my friends who had put together a gorgeous show. And that has turned into Rutherford Mang Media. And now we're publishing, and it allows me then to create my academy where I do teach others to, transfer from one platform to another. So if you're like a really big CEO or, a high performer, or even someone just coming into a business where you want to, just become better, that's what we do at the academy. And we meet you where you're at. And then we expand the way you perform.
You morphed your business into a media company, and you mentioned to me a book. What was that book you mentioned to me before the show started? The book beside you.
Oh, King of the Groove?
King of the Groove.
King of the Groove.
Did you want to talk about that at all?
Oh, well, I'm happy to talk about it a little. So this is King of the Groove, how one dream transformed into 60 years of legendary music. This is John J.R. Robinson. And I produced this book, and I co-wrote it with him. And it was honestly one of the best. The foreword was by Quincy Jones. Now, if you are a drummer, you will know this name. If you know every piece of music from the late 70s into the 80s specifically, and 90s, Daft Punk, oh my gosh, he's the most recorded drummer in the world. So Michael Jackson, he did Off the Wall. He did the first 3 albums of Michael Jackson, and on and on and on and on. So this was really fun. And what I loved about it was, I loved a ton of things about this entire production. I'm very proud. It became an Amazon bestseller, and I'm really excited. But I loved about it was I asked him questions that he'd never been asked before. And one of the things I said is, tell me about, like you did, Victor, with me just moments ago, tell me about how you set up. Like, you've got all this gear. I mean, he's at a level, and he's been that for decades, where he has people bringing in, setting up his mics and setting up all his drums and all this stuff. So he arrives ready to play. And so the A-lister, the reason why A-listers stay A-listers, no matter what they are, is because they always come with their first take. And you just sort of take that in any way you need to. So they don't sort of warm up and get there and go, what do you think? They come there. And that is the biggest difference. And, my academy, the standard, this is my slogan, our standard is not reserved for champions. Our standard is what makes you one. So champions, A-listers, all those, because that is a skill. And to continue to show up is the actual skill. And what I find fascinating, I'm fascinated by all those, even in the intro, Victor, with all of those ladies, I have a connection to every single one of those ladies. And those are all very high profile, very high, high achieving, including Kathy Ireland, including Stacey Shefflin and Joan Rivers, God rest her soul. She just, all those things. But back to, there you go, Joan Rivers. Oh my gosh, I've got a good story about her. But
I like the note she left in your book, from Sold Out. It was fantastic the way what she wrote, and especially with her special "You Bitch." So that's perfectly Joan Rivers. And this is the book we're talking about, Sold Out. That was your first book. Is that correct?
That was my first book, published in 2014.
And it sold a couple copies.
I did. It did very well, particularly in my industry. It was a bestseller in the industry of sales and how to get there and how to do it authentically and all that stuff. And, it was really great. It was a great,
I find it
fun
amazing
time
with you because here's a book that I wrote, or here's a book I co-wrote. Oh, and some guy named Quincy Jones, wrote the foreword. I'm like, I know. I don't know anyone that level. That's epic. And if you ever go through Alli's photos, it's amazing. She's at the Oscars. She's at the Grammys. She's at Quincy Jones's 80th birthday party. I'm like, holy
90th.
shit. 90th, excuse me. Maybe you're at both.
It's okay.
Who knows? Maybe you're at both parties. But it's unbelievable. I'm like, and it's amazing. And it's just, you're the type of person that doesn't just sit at their one job and coast for 40 years. You've done so much. Even so much as, let me call it up 1 second. I like this. This is probably one of my favorite things that you do. You're on the Chopping Channel. And here in this video, you are showing us, if it would play properly, you are showing us how to do hospital corners on the bed.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm just wondering, what was that like? You talked about the pressure before. If you're not, what was it? Not selling $10,000 a second, then you're not
a minute. Yep.
A minute. You're not worth your salt in this business. I'm just wondering, what was
not
that
even
like?
that.
Yeah.
It's not even about judgment. It was just like every business has some type of sales targets, right? Mm. So in this business, though, because we're on camera, we're the last line of defense, if you will. If we don't track those types of, usually we're given 8 minutes. Usually any product, even first-time product on QVC, is given 8 minutes. It could have changed now. I haven't been on QVC in quite some time, but a short amount of time. So if you're not tracking $40,000 within the first 44 minutes, they'll give you another minute or two to see if you can get up to the 60 and the 80,000 that it was targeted at. But if you don't hit it the first time, they move on. There are people standing in the wings ready to go, come in with their product. Everyone's ready and queued up. So that's the thing. Every minute counts. And that was the slogan of my first book, but anyway, yep.
No, sorry. I'm just wondering, say the product is shit. Mm-hmm. Say it's a shitty product and somehow it went through all the checks that the QVC goes through, right? I mean, there's lots of checks before that item makes their
huge
broadcast.
Quality.
Well, let's just say
yes,
it's not where it's at. I mean, it's a widget. Here, I'm selling this piece of string. Well, I don't need string. So how do you know what I mean? How do you pivot that? How do you get to 10,000?
I mean, as a seller, you mean how do I make sure that happens or whatever?
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
Like you're like, oh my God, I'm selling a piece of string. Okay. How am I going to do this? And I got 5 minutes to prove myself. Otherwise I'm back in my car and going home. Right?
There you go. Well, it happens, and that's part of the game. So I think what you are asking, though, is what if the product gone through? And I'm just saying this because there's so much that goes into it, and of course, I may be the last line of defense, but the promotion in the back, there's a full team behind who has sat at tables and figured out, so by the time you do see it on, let's assume it is ready to go. But you're right. Sometimes everything can point to this piece of string will be like, it'll sell out in minutes because it has in past, it has in Germany, it hasn't. So now it's going to be in here. There's so many factors. The playoffs could have been last night. It could be time of day of your show. It could be that it's Christmas morning. It could be that, you see what I mean? There are so many factors that are completely out, or there's all of a sudden a pressure that's happening from, the White House or whatever, or some catastrophe where all of a sudden your show is not even seen. No one's seen it. No one cares, and the sales. So when we say $10,000 a minute, as is the sign that you get another chance, it is all true. But there are other parts to it. And that is, if that indeed happens, it's now for the network to decide, okay, is it worth us to give that person that product another 8 minutes somewhere else in the day? Do we tape what we've done and then do we slot it in during other shows and other product and 8-minute segments that don't go? So that's where, because a lot of like the vendors, which I have been a few times for shopping channels, which is, we think that the person in the front who is selling is taking risk and like, oh my gosh, my product may not last and I'm going home in the car, blah, 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 no sales, anything. The vendors also take great risk, because for the most part now, sometimes depending on the lineage of the product, the shopping channels will stock the product, if you will. So they will actually buy it. But there are many a times where vendors are just selling on spec. And if nothing sells, it all comes back to them. So there's a whole many different levels. How do I sell a piece of string with authenticity when I know it's just a piece of string? My job isn't to judge whether this piece of string is going to fit just because I don't like it. My job is to position it in a way that is authentic, that is honest. And I'll call, well, guys, I know, let's pretend that I know this is a piece of string, but you wouldn't believe how many things we can use it to solve problems. So I'm going to show you. So when you have a product specifically like that, or you're sort of like, my gosh, there's about this much I can say about it. You start to show. I'm always about tell me, show me, prove it. Because if I can say the sound was down and I can still show you how much this product solves problems, little problems, big problems. Maybe it's a string where you can attach if you don't have great sight and you're trying to thread a needle. You attach it to the bigger string, boom, and there's your string. So there's one way that we do it. Anyway, it's a very interesting question. And I've spent a lot of time figuring out how to do that. And one of the biggest things is one of my methods called Anchor 5, because I believe there were 5 categories of customers at all time that we're talking to, not just one customer. And that way, you're always thinking about how will this particular customer who's on a budget and is a cashier, but she still wants to buy it, how will I position the piece of string to suit her needs? And then how will I position it also for the couple who only stay at 5-star hotels, but they know that that string has a tensile weight of so-and-so and da-da-da. So that's how I make it. It's very authentic. I never lie on TV. It just cannot do, because people can read the desperation when people lie on TV.
But I think what most people don't realize, what you've done, and I'm not sure if others do this at hosts on Shopping Channel or QVC, you have, I wish you had them with you. You have binders, like huge binders of your research.
I do.
You
I do. I brought one of them.
Oh,
I have
perfect.
4 of them.
And you've even gone to like the factory where they're being made.
Yeah.
And so I think that brings it up with you as well. Like you could say it's a 700 thread count because I saw them put the 700 threads in the product. Do most people who host on that channel do that much research, or are you one off?
I don't know. And there's a ton of people who are exceptional at it. And that's the interesting thing. And that's where you go to the actor. If you had 5 acting teachers are at the top of their game. Sanford Meisner, Uta Hagen, Carol Rosenfeld, Hedda Gabler, and anyway, you know what I mean. If they were all sitting and watching somebody who is a great actor, each one of those teachers would say, "That's what I teach." So I guess what I'm saying is the way I have to come at it, so that it's grounded, so that it's not fake and talk. I can't stand talkers that there's no foundation, that there's no real understanding that this person actually knows what they're talking about. They're just giving out words. I don't enjoy that. So for me, if I have the opportunity to go and see how it's packed, or go and see and talk to the guys on the line who are making it, I will do it, because it gives me story. It gives me emotion. These are all human beings. And it just helps me come with a message that's full of interesting things to me. Because if I'm interested in it, then that's going to read on camera.
Yeah.
And if I'm not enthused by it, no one's going to be enthused by it. That is my process, Vic. And I'm saying there's so many great people out there, and they can just, they don't do any of that. And somehow you just go, wow, it's so cool.
I know. I've dealt with some politicians, especially during election time, where some come up with a piece of paper and they're nervous and they're shaking and they're, reading off this paper, and you can tell they're reading. And then there's some politicians, how long do I have? You have a minute. Okay, when are you rolling? I'm rolling. And they spit out a minute and they, okay, have a nice day, and gone. No prep, no writing, nothing, just off their head. So I know what you're kind of talking about. I want to spin back. Where was I going to spin back to? Oh, I wanted to spin back to you sitting at the Oscars, you sitting at the Grammys, you experiencing that whole thing. Not many get to experience it. Not many get to go to, and I'm not sure if you did, but the Vanity Fair party or whatever party you may have gone to. Mm-hmm. Selfishly, I kind of got into this business so I could experience that too, and I never have. Well, what's that like when you're...
You've never have yet.
Yet, that's correct. But the thing is, they're all just people, and they had to drive, and they got a break, and they got successful, and they, I'm thinking big time actors. But what's it like being in that room? What's the energy like? What's the like? You can see during the commercial break, everyone gets up and talks to each other and shoot the shit or whatever. But what's that like? You coming in, watching all that, and saying, "Oh my God, this is crazy."
Being a fly on the wall, basically.
Yeah.
So the time I was at the Academy Awards, I was representing someone. It was kind of an odd thing, but not odd, but it was a little left field. He actually was a biomechanic who worked for the PGA. So he was actually Tiger Woods' personal biomechanic, which is everybody knows what a biomechanic is now, but even back then it was sort of, well, what is that? So that's like an athletic therapist, a chiropractor, everything in one. And it's quite an interesting, and you see them at the tennis matches more than you do in golf, because usually the guys or the gals go off if they need to be worked on. But in tennis, you see the athletic therapists actually working on the athletes right there. So that's what they do. Talk about A-list and having to, this was when Tiger's back at the beginning of his back issues before all the other stuff happened. Anyway, that's the kind of high pressure of producing solutions that I was working with. And it was quite a pleasure to work with him, because it was a different sport. It was a different platform, but it was the same principles, which was great. So we were guests because I was managing him, and he was invited because at the time, Paramount, one of the studios, I think it was Paramount, wanted him to come on to be the biomechanic of their stars, like Tom Cruise and all the guys who totally insist on doing their own stunts, which is amazing. But they needed somebody to ensure that if any of the actors got injured, they could work just like they did the PGA. So that's why I was there. So what was it like for me? I'm fascinated by how people handle themselves when they are at the top of their game. And you're right, that is an expression of being at the top of their game. And I will tell you, if I were to say one thing, you talked about that politician who just comes in ready, like, are we rolling? Great. And he just lights up and he goes. The entire theater is full of those people. It's an experience that they have to be on, and it's the place that they are. But interesting for them, they're like, yeah, okay, I'll get dressed, whatever. I'll have so-and-so come over and we'll get the limo and they'll do my hair and they'll do whatever. Just do my stuff. And then I want to show up and I can't wait to hang out with my friends. Or you'll hear many a time where they'll talk about a big star, let's just Celine Dion. And she said, oh my gosh, for the first time, I was able to meet Tony Bennett, So they're also fans as well as being stars, but they are people. It just happens to be a very glamorous type of work that people in the corporate world and sitting in cubicles or sitting at home at the kitchen table doing your work, we're all workers doing stuff that we love, hopefully, and they just get a chance to do it in front of the camera. And it's a very interesting place to have you been to LA. I'm sure you have.
No, I have not. No.
Oh my God. No. So you need to go at some point. But I will say, as you pass by the first time, Rodeo Drive. Oh, yeah. I remember. San Fernando Highway and all of this and all that song in the sunshine. Mm-hmm. But it's so ingrained in us, particularly in the Western culture, where we just, are just enamored by it all. Much of the world, they're still into stardom, obviously, but not like the Western culture is. There's so much more to life than that. But to answer your question, and a final thing, I loved seeing how they showed up in interviews and intermingling and at the step and repeat, and just how they stand there and they know the angles. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I find that, I don't have any actors in my life, but I know of a comedian.
Oh, you do?
I know of a comedian and a professional wrestler from WWE. And when you're with them off camera, like off the stage, they are the quietest, shyest people you'll ever meet. But then when they're told, okay, you're going on in a minute, they just turn and they go into this thing, right? They're zoomed in on what they have to do. They do their thing and then they come back, and again, then it's all shut down and a big wall comes up. So like we said, they're just people, and they're doing their job, which is just interesting. I have another question, but I think we better take a break first.
Oh,
because we got to pay some bills, and then when we come back, I have one more question, and then we have the famous segment of 10 questions. We'll be right back.
Hi, Alli Mang here. I gained 35 pounds a few years ago, and I couldn't get rid of it. I did the usual, including intermittent fasting, a trainer, and even cut down to 1,400 calories a day. Nothing seemed to budge until a friend told me to try Make Wellness. It's bioactive plant-based precision peptides that signal to your body at the cellular level what to do. Burn fat, curb cravings, preserve lean muscle. Well, the first product I tried was lean, and that was the turn. I lost the weight, and the best thing is I'm keeping it off with no worries. For 15 years, I sold products all over the world on live shopping. Hundreds have approached me to talk up their products. I've said yes to a handful. Make Wellness is one of them. It's time to switch it up.
All right. Well, thank you for that.
Yay!
We're back. We are back.
Thank you for that.
So my father's mother lived with her family for 30 years, and she was kind of the boss of the family. She was the eldest of the family, so everyone came to our house every week. And about 6 months before I got married, she passed away with me. Mm. I was with her, and she passed away. And it was funny because she knew something was up, and I had to call an ambulance for her. And before she went to the door to get the ambulance, she had to comb her hair. She had to make herself look good. and then she didn't make it. She didn't make it to the hospital. She died en route. And for a long time, it's really, really stuck with me. I know you have some personal, I don't want to say tragedy, but personal experience with that as well. You lost your mother. Tragically, you lost your sister, and you also lost your father a few years ago. How did you pivot from that? And how, I know that you'll never forget about them, and I know as time goes on, it gets easier. But how were you able to move forward and continue to do all the great things that you do and drive yourself? Because for me, I went into a hole, and I was in the hole for a long time.
Yeah. You're right. You do go in a hole for sure. And I think, and the reason is because you were able to love her so much. And it's a big abyss for sure. So this is a much bigger conversation, but I will say this. I wrote a book called My Force of Life, How to Live Through the Loss of a Loved One. And the word there is through. And for a long time, I stayed right there. But then when I lost my sister, it was another loss. And it seemed like for 27 years, I'd just been saying goodbye. And it was a big part, as I know it's a big part of your life. We all have to face it. And so how did I get through it, and how am I pivoting? Honestly, Victor, I think I'm continuing to pivot. I think I'm continuing to understand more and more about how to live through the loss of a loved one, no matter who they are. If you love them, then that's a big thing. I have to say that I had to find a way in order for me to move through. And it's not about a way, it's through, because we can't hang on to what was. We need to embrace them in a different way because they're tangibly not here. And I think that if you have your eyes open and your heart open, you learn a ton about yourself. And that really is the gift to me. I mean, the journey in life is to learn more about ourselves and how we can be of service to the gifts that have been given to us, to the gifts we've developed, to the interests, the passions, all the stuff. But at the end of the day, it really is, how is my journey, no matter how long I have, how can I make it worthwhile? And my thing is, and to help others feel great about their lives too, in whatever way I can be of service to that, because that's my thing. I've always been about, and especially through my sister's suicide. And I have to say, I do love walking through the fire if I know I can help someone. And that's not egotistical, because I can't help. Sometimes I'm on my knees. And so that is something I can't do. But if I know that I understand it and I know I can help, then that's what I love doing. So I will say that I actually had to let go of the old self and the stories that were wrapped around it. Now, I don't forget them, but I had to let them go, almost like a file cabinet, move some files out to allow for more files, to allow for more expression. And even that, I was like, oh, now I'm saying goodbye to more things, But finding the grace of that journey has really helped me. And may I read you a couple of things I wrote?
Please.
Because it really is the essence of everything that I've created since when I started writing, et cetera. And you talked about coaches right from the beginning. And this is it. And I wrote this. So funnily enough, when I wrote it, this is quite a while ago, you see that stuff on the bottom there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My thumb was bleeding.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't know it. So I'm holding the thing and I don't know what happened. But anyway, so this thing's in blood, man. So
yeah, that's good.
So I won't read all of it, but I feel that this is I hope that, anyway, this is it. This is it, kids. To the old self, because she earned a kind goodbye, not a slammed door. Old self, you were brilliant. You kept her alive through the years when there was no first chair and no life preserver, and she had to swim back to the boat alone. You taught her to make herself small so she would not be a target, to apologize for taking up room, to prove and prove because it felt like love had to be earned. You ran on guilt and shame because that was the fuel in the tank at the time. Thank you. You did the job. And now, gently, hush, you are not driving anymore. Climb into the back, rest your hands, close your eyes. She is safe now, and she does not need you at the wheel. And quickly, and now to the new self, the one who has been waiting at the edge of the stage. Expand with glee without 1 ounce of apology.
Wow, that's great. That's fantastic. Let me just ask, I'm a hoarder. I keep things just in case. Are you that way, or are you becoming accustomed to just throwing things out? I'm not saying the family thing. I'm saying like this piece of paper. Don't need it, gone. Or I'll keep that paper in case one day I need it. So
you are very astute, and it's a great question. And yes, I was. Yes, I totally was. And in fact, even to add to that, I used to be a restorer as well. So my friend always said there's
another
two
title.
kinds.
Another title to what you do.
There's two kinds of people. No, not restorers and furniture restorer, but two kinds of people. There's restorers and maintainers. The restorers let it all just hang out and explosion, picture your room or the closet or whatever, or your office. And then all of a sudden you restore every month or every whenever. And the maintainers just are constantly in the present, on the thing, tidying as they go, making sure and whatever. And I've always been a restorer and always been a hoarder until I wrote this piece, until I realized I need to let go. It doesn't need to be carried anymore. And from that, all of a sudden I realized I seem to be a maintainer. Not that there's a good or bad to it at all. It just is, for me, it was a growth time and allowing to let things go, because our heart and our mind, we remember everything. And that's one of the great things about our minds and our bodies. But sometimes we do have to let them go and love them. Don't hate them, but love them. You've done your job. Now it's time for the new self to be here. So there you go. That's my answer.
I'll give you an example about me. My great-grandfather.
Oh, yes, please.
My great-grandfather came to Canada in 1933 or earlier. Mm-hmm. Went back to Italy, went back and forth, whatever. He died in 1971. I wasn't born until 75. But in my shed, I have his shovel. That's all broken on the bottom. It will not shovel anything, but I've kept it. Why am I keep? I don't even know who he was. I know nothing. I know very little about him. It's not like it's my father or something. It's my great grandfather who I never met, but yet I have a shovel in my garage in case one day I want to dig a ditch with a bad shovel. Right?
No, come on. You know why you keep it. Let's give you a few moments to think about why do you keep it?
I keep it because I feel guilty to throw it out and lose that memory, because when my dad sees it or other relatives see it, that they know where that's from. But I don't know. Something just feels bad about letting it go, right? Even though I don't even know who he was. He could have been, who knows, right?
Well, may I just for a moment just provide a different perspective?
Shrink me. Go ahead.
Because no. Are you kidding me? I want to expand you, my friend. By the way,
psychiatrist, whatever it is, do it. I want it.
Shrink me. Got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Well, I'm no psychologist by any stretch, but you know, what you just said was so honest. And it was exactly what I'm talking about, what I did too. All of these things. Listen, to write something like that, it's taken me 40 years to be able to write that. And then I decided to share it. I mean, why? I'm not sure. But, you know, that shovel to you represents a lot. It represents part of your past. And what I'm saying to you is it's beautiful that you keep it. You might get to a point where you're deciding, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. Maybe the kids all of a sudden now move back in the house when they get old or whatever, and you don't have room. So there's a logical present realization that you have no more room for that shovel. And it is those life experiences that make you go, I think I got to start to make a choice now. I hadn't ever needed to make a choice. So why did I didn't bother. I kept the shovel there because it means something to me. But all of a sudden, present of life comes into play. And then you're forced to make a decision because of whatever reason that is right for you now. And if we're going to be letting go of certain things because the timing is correct, regardless of what the story is, find a way to do it in a way that gives you peace. And I say, I am letting this go with love. That's my saying. That may not be somebody else's saying, but not with guilt or shame or just let it find that place in your heart to go, no, you know what? This has been a beautiful part of my life and I'm never going to forget about it. But I've got other shovels to start storing in my new part of my mind. And you'll come to that or you won't. Like, it doesn't matter. The journey is yours, but your point is very well taken for sure.
Thank you. You know, this has been a very awesome conversation. I'm glad that you've been so open to whatever I asked. But now here comes the fun part. We're going to go into a segment called 10 Questions. And let's see how we do. So obviously we kind of stole the idea from James Lipton, who was a fantastic host and a show called Inside the Actor Studio. It was honestly amazing. And especially those actors. I remember one was, what's his name? He was actually a student and then he came back to sit in front of the class and talk about how he met all these famous actors, and he's done some great work. He was in A Star Was Born. I forget his name, of course, but I'll think of it later.
Christopherson?
No,
you're talking about Bradley, blah, blah, blah.
Bradley Cooper. That's it, Bradley Cooper.
There you go.
Ding. So perfect.
Bing, bing, bing. But you know Christopher. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the version I saw was the more modern one. I know there's 4 versions of that movie, I think.
There probably is.
But anyhow, here we go. The Leanne Mang Foundation carries your sister's name into the world. What do you say to her in those quiet moments when you feel her watching?
She's always with me and she's always with her kids. And I know that for a fact. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
You've generated $65 million selling to people you could not see. What did you actually sell them?
The experience of discovery, of probably what it would be like to have in your home or on your finger or around your neck or in your hair, what it feels like. And I think that our job was to authentically just show and talk about and illuminate what it's like to have it as part of your day, you know, your favorite cup that you can just enjoy and it's lightweight. Mm-hmm. So it's the experience of having it.
You train CEOs and elite performers to access their game face under pressure. What is the last thing you tell yourself before a live camera blinks red? Don't fuck up.
No. I look straight into the mirror and I say, honey, you got this.
The show is called The Hot Switch. You are sitting on the side of the table for the first time. So the other side.
Yeah.
What does this guest see that the host could never?
Wait, say that again. What does the...
So now you're the guest. So what do you see
Okay.
that the host, which you are sometimes, doesn't see? You're seeing the opposite side. So what's it like for you?
Well, I love actually being a guest. I also love being a host, but you've got to switch your whole mind. Now it's about, I feel an obligation to be really, really engaged and honest with you. And as a result, with our audience and to not put on airs and not perform in a way that, I would often do in a hosting chair, which frankly is a learning curve too, because I'm probably going to get more to, not performing and just hanging, although we do have a good time, but everything is information and I love this position.
Good. Don't get used to it.
Okay.
Your favorite
I was thinking maybe you could be the host.
No. Your favorite word and your least favorite word.
Win is my favorite word. And the reason why, or do you want me to just leave it at that?
It's whatever you like.
The reason why is because win in ancient language means something very differently than it means now. Win, it's about trophy, podium. It's a transaction you get. But the actual meaning of win, to win, I wrote it down because it doesn't matter. But it is in the pursuit of what you love doing. It's actually movement towards. So it's not about getting. It is part of pursuing what you love and the surrender part of that. Anyway, so I just love it. Now, so it's not transaction. It's part of it. And my favorite quote from that is when Bill Rogers says, he's a famous Boston marathoner and he coaches and all that stuff. He said, a winner is actually preparing not one day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, but for a lifetime. Love it.
What turned you on and what turned you off?
Wait. Did you want me to give you my least bad word?
Favorite, yeah. Your least favorite word.
I don't know.
That's 3 words.
I know.
No problem. Okay. So what turned you on? What turned you off?
What turns me on? I just love it when somebody, you see the light go on. I love that.
Okay.
What turns me off? It doesn't turn me off, but when I see somebody in pain and I know their journey. So that doesn't turn me off, but I guess what turns me off is that you can't help everybody. Mm-hmm. And it really is up to each one of us to figure out how we want to rise in our own way. But anyway, I don't know if that answered that question,
no, it's
but
good.
That's what came to my mind.
Your favorite sound?
Well, I mean, you cannot. Any her, a little kitten, a little dog, those little sweet, beautiful newborn sounds, a baby, a laugh. This all of a sudden, when a baby laughs for the first time, you're just, oh, this is just glorious. So I will say this outburst from a new little creation is just breathtaking.
Your favorite curse word?
I have to say, it's kind of a phrase. Can I say it? I'm saying it. Screw it. It's the hot switch, for God's sakes.
It's your show.
Okay, there you go. Well, yeah, it's so, see, we always have room to grow. Why am I asking you? But that's what I do. And this is, I love it more, and I say it rarely, but when I say it, it links me right back to Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Spencer Tracy's version and Katharine Hepburn's version, not the others that have been created since. Well, I'll be a son of a bitch. And he says it towards the end of the movie when he's looking out in the sunset, and he's been grappling with, this idea, his daughter, his white daughter, very, lineage of all that, is going to marry a black fellow who is incredibly, Sidney Poitier played him, of course. Mm-hmm. And he sits there and he's grappling. He's having his own aha moment, if you will, of going, wow, I cannot believe that I've been so close-minded. Wow, me. And that was his line. Well, I'll be a son of a bitch. And then he goes in and, of course, gets everyone around to talk about, in his speech that is divine. It's the last speech he ever did. And he died, a few weeks later. Katharine Hepburn is sitting there. They just keep the camera on her almost more than Spencer Tracy, because Katharine Hepburn knows that this is a moment in time she will never get back, because this was his last speech and she knew it. He knew it. Oh, so, well, I'll be a son of a bitch is my favorite swear word.
Nice. And that's my favorite. Turning on TCM, Turner Classic Movies, and catching something like that. And okay, let me watch it for a few minutes, and you end up watching the whole movie. It's great. And finally,
it is great.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive?
You ready to go for another round?
Beautiful. Alli, this has been, first of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to not only produce your show, but help you bring your vision to life. I thank you for trusting me in everything I've done. I'm glad I took the chance and reached out to you back when I did. And I'm so happy to be working with you. And you're just a fantastic person. And for you to have the courage to allow me to do this with you speaks volumes. So I want to thank you. Bless you for doing it. And I'm looking forward to what's going to happen next.
Do I get the last word?
Sure. No problem. And
Victor.
if you want to throw the commercial too, that's fine.
Okay, well, I will. Where are we at here time-wise? Oh, my God, it's been a long show.
Yes,
but I have to say, there is something just delightful. And thank you for taking a chance so many years ago, following your instinct. And, we realize that success doesn't happen. It takes a lifetime. And it's based on relationships. That's it. And relationships, then trust. And then we have to continue to earn trust. And everywhere we go, it's really hard. And particularly now, and, there are so many fakes in various different ways. Some of it is incredibly helpful, but some of it is not. So what I wanted to say to you, thank you. And together we just, we move forward, making the best choices we can. And really, that's what life has to be about. It just has to, because You know, like Robert Fulghum said, when everything I needed to learn, I learned in kindergarten. You know, that was his whole book. It's one of the greatest books ever written. And he talks about, you know, hold hands when you cross the road. That's what you need to do. And I thank you very much. This was such a pleasure.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. That's it for this week. I promise Alli will be back next week hosting. Promise you. This might be my one and done. Who knows? But anyhow, thank you for watching. Thank you, Alli. We'll see you next time.
Alli Mang here. Of all the people that could have been chosen, designer Ana Lucia Beltran asked me to host her live worldwide launch last year of her newest product, the world's first non-toxic luxury jewelry cleaner, safe for gold, silver, diamonds, and even pearls. Ana Lucia is the founder of the world's first designer lab-grown diamond brand. Her entire brand is sustainable luxury, ethically made at prices that make sense. Her pieces have been featured in Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee album. I'm proud to call her my friend and even more proud to stand behind what she is building for today's women. For 15 years, I sold products all over the world on live shopping. Hundreds have approached me to talk up their products. I've said yes to a handful. Ana Lucia Diamonds and her entire company is one of them. It's time to switch it up.